Hi and welcome to another Watch Geek video. Today we take a closer look at a Cuervo y Sobrinos Prominente, a watch I was completely smitten by in the unboxing. So, has spending more time with it made the magic disappear, or has the crush grown into real love? Let's find out. But first, let's talk about the brand itself, as most of you, just like me, probably never heard of it. I was first introduced to Cuervo y Sobrinos, or Cuervo and Nephews, when they offered to send their limited edition Historiador Landeron in for a review. That watch was a faithful recreation of their historical chronograph from the 50s, all the way down to the movement used, a restored Landeron 248. After researching the brand I never heard of, I was surprised at the history and heritage it had. Founded in 1882 as a jewelry store in Havana on Cuba, they sold some of the best watch brands available back then, and even had boutique exclusives made by Patek Philippe, with Cuervo y Sobrinos written on the dial, just like Tiffany did. Later on, they decided to get into the watchmaking business themselves, and have done so successfully until the 60s when the company was nationalized, and as you would expect from a company run by the government, kept dormant until 1996 when it was revived by a group of investors. Today, they're based in Switzerland, and their lineup consists of watches ranging from entry-level models that use third-party movements, like this one is, all the way to precious metal ones with tourbillons and in-house movements. What I love about the brand is the transparency, as they always state the base movement they use, unlike most manufacturers that hide that using their own naming system. What all their watches share is the original design that is somewhat flamboyant, making this Prominente one of the more restrained models they offer. So design-wise, they're not for everyone, and are a love or hate kind of brand. I personally love their originality, even if I find some of their designs a bit over the top. But at least, they're not boring and generic, something many brands suffer from. The Prominente is a watch I fell in love with, as you might have seen in my unboxing video. It really was love at first sight. I have a soft spot for rectangular watches, and this one is simply stunning. The case with its curvature at the top and bottom, and these protruding flanks that also add curvatures to the side, make for a very sexy and attractive watch. I especially love the fact the sapphire crystal follows the same lines, and love the combination of brushed and polished surfaces. Then the dial, royal blue with the inner part having a beautiful sunburst effect, and the outer featuring these deep grooves, make the watch look premium and refined. The printed Roman numerals are done in silver and are so rich in application they're three-dimensional rather than flat. The minute track is done on the inner part of the dial, a trick often used on rectangular watches, including my Reverso and Seiko Laurel, to compensate for the shortness of hands necessary on a dial unevenly shaped like this one is. Even the date aperture at 6 o'clock has character and looks just right, while the applied logo at 12 is one of the most complex I have seen on any watch. Everything is finished and printed very well, and the only flaw damaging the high-end impression of the watch is some dust and particles found on the dial. When it comes to size, as usual with rectangular watches, the numbers are a bit misleading. 32mm in width and just 43 lug to lug would mean a rather small watch, but thanks to the expansive dial, it wears much bigger, like something with a 47 or 50mm lug to lug. I would definitely recommend trying one on before purchase. When it comes to the movement used, it is based on the Soprod M100, which is the current version of the A10, which again is based on the high-end Seiko 4L movement. So not your run-of-the-mill ETA or Salida, giving it a bit more exclusivity. The movement beats away at 28,800 bph and comes with both hacking and hand winding. It also features instant date change at midnight, and it is finished and decorated by Cuervo y Sobrinos, and it does look pretty under the sapphire caseback. The watch is paired with a blue Louisiana alligator strap and a very well finished deployant buckle. The strap and buckle both look and feel on the high-end side of things. In fact, the whole watch looks and feels high-end. Sadly, the price reflects that, and that is how we get to the flaw I mentioned at the beginning. With a price of about $3,500, it is very expensive for the specs you get. It also puts the watch in a price bracket where you have options from much more known brands, even if this one has a rich history behind it. It makes it a pretty niche watch from a pretty niche brand, making it a hard sell. But sometimes we buy watches based on their specs, sometimes based on the power of the brand, and sometimes the value for money is what draws us in. But sometimes you throw all logic and reasoning out of the window and just want a watch so bad simply because it takes your breath away. Well, that is how I feel about this watch. I know there are so many options out there at this price, but I can't stop smiling when I put this on, and I can't stop wanting one, especially when I saw they offer it in a range of wild colors in their Prominente Caramello line, something similar to what Rolex offers with their new Oyster Perpetual. So the crush has definitely grown into love, but I personally would look for one on the used market if I decided to get one. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed and found it useful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and until the next video, bye.